Only, Marla, this is going to be private.
It's red. Is it red?
Red.
Called red.
Which means begin and action.
It's world famous. This is a story about a hero, an Israeli hero. The ultimate Israeli hero, King Solomon, is doing battle with Asmodeus, the demon king. And King Solomon is vested and is on the floor with Asmodeus standing above him with a huge, sharp, black axe. And Asmodeus, he says, King Solomon, I could kill you now. But I've heard some good things about some temple plans, and there may be some work in it for me. So I'm going to give you one last chance. I ask you one question, you give me the answer, and you shall live. Get me the answer wrong, I will chop your head up. So, you have 1 week to give me the answer to this question. What is the one thing a woman most desires? So, King Solomon, he gets up and he goes back to his father's young city of Jerusalem, and he gathers before him his 100 wives. And he says, 1,000 wives? Sorry, whatever. They're the educators. 1,000? Anyway, he gathers them and he says, ladies, lovely to see you all here. This is slightly intimidating, but lovely nevertheless. If you could just let me know what is, just a little question, if you could let me know, what is the one thing that a woman most desires? So, of course, up stands the Queen of Sheba, or Halle Berry-like. Oh, she was in the film, Jimmy Smith. And she doesn't know Halle Berry-like. She says, King Solomon, I'm sure that I speak for everybody when I say, it is about time you asked. And all the other women go, yeah, it's about bloody time. Yes, right. And she said, I'm also sure that I speak for everybody when I say that the one thing a woman most desires is the love of a good man. Uproar. Sit down, you silly old cat. What the hell do you know? Yeah, that's a cat woman, absolute rubbish. Up stands another woman and says, no, King Solomon, the one thing a woman most desires is... This is the audience participation bit. You don't say anything, we're stuck in forever. More time, says one woman. And another one says, yeah, she's too busy anyway. Well, another woman says, no, the one thing a woman most desires is...
Food.
Shoes. Food. So the large woman in the boots, no. After the rope stands another woman, no. The one thing a woman most desires is...
The love of her children.
The love of her children. God, she's boring. Anyway, at the end of the evening, it's been a long evening, and King Solomon has heard 173 different things that a woman most desires, but he has not heard the one thing a woman most desires. He is in trouble. He spends the rest of the week walking around the palace, speaking to old women, speaking to cats and dogs, speaking to his great-grandmother, but nothing helps. He's walking his way back to Asmodeus through the forests outside of Jerusalem, and there he suddenly hears a psst. And there, behind a tree, is an ugly old hag with one tooth. And the ugly old tooth with one hag, she says, King Solomon, I have the answer for you. Promise to give me whatever I desire, and I shall tell you the answer. And so King Solomon kind of has no choice, so he agrees, and she whispers in his ear. And King Solomon, he approaches Asmodeus, and there stands Asmodeus with a huge sharp black axe. And Asmodeus, he says, "No." And King Solomon says, Asmodeus, the one thing that a woman most desires is to be in control of her own destiny. You've been talking to that old hag, haven't you? Yeah, right. You're free to go. So King Solomon, he returns to his father's young city, and there is celebration and merriment for a year and a day. And at the end of the day, there is a knock at the Jaffa gate. And there stands the ugly old hag with one tooth. You've forgotten me, haven't you? I have come to collect my reward. I should like the hand in marriage of him. And she, no, it's pretend. And she no. This theatrical conceit. I could go on forever. I'm going to stop. Yeah, and she is pointing at the most handsome, the most eligible, the most gorgeous and dashing bachelor in all of Jerusalem. And this young man, he knows that this woman has saved the life of his king, and so he nods in consent. And there are damsels fainting throughout Jerusalem. And the marriage is celebrated in sadness and solemnity. And the man, after the wedding, he takes his ugly old hag bride to his bedchamber. He closes the door behind. He takes her hand to kiss it. And it's all hasn't been washed for about 50 years. It's got warts and pus and everything. But this is the woman that he has agreed to marry. This is his wife, and so he kisses the hand. And suddenly she is transformed into the most beautiful, the most gorgeous, the most delightful young woman in all his days that he's ever seen. And she says to him, "Congratulations, my husband. You have succeeded in breaking half the curse. You may now have me either beautiful and gorgeous in private at night, and a lovely old hag in public during the day, or you may have me beautiful and gorgeous in public during the day, and a lovely old hag in private at night. What do you say?" And this young man, he looks at his beautiful wife and remembers what was standing before him just 2 seconds earlier. And he stops to think a second, takes her hands in his, and he says, "My wife, I should like you to decide." Congratulations, my husband, you've succeeded in breaking the second half of the curse, for you remembered that the one thing a woman most desires is to be in control of her own destiny. So here's the thing. I really like that story, but I'm not all that convinced. I'm not sure that is the only thing that a woman most desires. I know that if I go shopping with Dorit, my wife, or certainly with Hilar, and they say to me, this dress or this dress, and I say, whatever you choose, that wouldn't go down well, or at least it wouldn't go down very cheaply, and probably end up buying pretty much everything in it. So basically, I'm not sure that is the exact answer, but what I do love about this story is that it's like a love story of the morning after. It's kind of a little bit beyond the initial falling in love stage. The morning after, the love story of the morning after. You remember that the morning after, when you wake up and you realise that his charming smile is a little bit more crooked than you first remembered it, or her quirky sense of humour is a bit more annoying without the wine. It's that moment when we realise that in English it's not for nothing that we call it falling in love, because in fact eventually we land. And obviously it's only as we get older that we realise it's only once you land and hit the ground that the actual relationship can actually get moving. Once you hit the ground. So anyway, I fell in love, as many of you did, I fell in love with Israel. I fell in love with Israel, and so I made Aliyah. I came to live in Israel, and that was round about the time that I landed, painfully. And it was on picking myself up and dusting myself down and taking care of my bruises that I realised I'd been told many a story of falling in love with Israel, but I hadn't been told many love stories of the morning after. So here we are. This is my friend Adam. Adam Mader is a musician. He was born and bred in Kibbutz Kfar Hanassi, and he now lives in Herzliya. And myself, as you know, born in Britain, so he is the native and I am the invader. So this evening, for the end of our time together, we thought we'd bring you a show that we normally perform for much larger audiences, 200, 300, but it actually is something quite nice every now and then, just to do it with a small group of people that we know. So we're going to be telling you love stories, Israel love stories of the morning after. We're also going to be singing some Israeli songs, love songs of the morning after, and there's going to be a translation up on the screen, so that if you shift your head sideways, you'll have subtitles. And then basically, this first song is a case in point. It's a song by the blessed Elbanai, as we've met him before, the Bob Dylan of Israel. This is a song, a love song of the morning after. Today.
היום נעשה משהו בלתי נשכח, שישאיר זיכרון של שמחה ומבורך.
היום שלח יד לתת בראשך, היום אגרום לך סוף סוף לחייך. היום אגרש את העצב מעינייך,
ואעשה את היום המאושר בחייך.
היום תשמעי מה שעוד לא שמעת, החדש לך חידוש ואדליק לך מבט. היום אבשל לך משהו טעים, אעשה את הכל שיהיה לך נעים.
נכון, לא תמיד אני מלא אהבה,
אבל היום אני מבקש את הקרבה. היום It's been so long since we've spoken together, the two of us, about Israel and the diaspora in Israel. I think we've actually talked about it a hell of a lot. But today we're going to enjoy it. Celebrate. היום יצא לסיבוב בשכונה, נשב ביחד על ספסל בגינה. We fall in love. We generally assume we fall in love at the history-drenched heights of Masada. Once upon a time, people used to think that they would fall in love at the Kotel, but we know all about that. But we land at Ben Gurion International Airport. And as we know, the most difficult thing at Ben Gurion Airport is actually to get out, because there are all these welcome parties. There are all these people welcoming people in, such that the incoming people can rarely actually get out. So this is the first sort of main story of the evening, and it's called Hesed and Din, or Overflowing Israeli Chutzpah. And the story begins when I went to meeting some friends from Ben Gurion Airport, good old friends, not Jewish, from Britain, and I'd missed their wedding, but I'd managed to persuade them to spend their honeymoon in Israel. So I'm at Ben Gurion Airport. I've got these two roses, and I'm ready to meet them, and I'm really excited to meet them. And I'm standing behind this barrier thing, this barrier which they in the new airport they've made pretty so that it at least serves some purpose. So of course I'm actually standing behind the barrier because I'm English. And I'm waiting for my friends to come out, and of course I'm observing what's going on in Ben Gurion International Airport. Of course, there's the family, the family, the mother, the father, the three kids, the pet poodle, and the parrot, and they're all waiting for grandma. Then grandma emerges from customs, and they all rush straight out to meet her. And what's that English bloke doing behind the barrier? What's that for? Straight out to meet her, and and it's lovely to watch. It's full of love. They're just kissing and hugging, and squawking and barking, and of course they are actually blocking the way for anyone else to get out, and they're not quite noticing that. In fact, there are these tired, exhausted travellers traipsed in from Timbuktu, trapped behind the welcome party. And of course, the welcome party moves away just to leave room for another welcome party. For even arguments between one welcoming party blocking another welcoming party from blocking everyone else from getting out. And I'm just standing there, I'm thinking, what does this look like? For my friends, for foreigners coming into this weird chutzpah-filled country where it seems like everything. I mean, it's good. No one's being nasty. You know, it's not like they're deliberately blocking the way of anybody else. It's just that they're so full of love and so full of emotion that they have these sort of emotional blinkers on, such that they are aware of their own emotions, but none of the emotions of anyone else in the whole world that can go jump. So, but I realise it is about love. It's about unmannered, inconsiderate, overflowing love. And it's that moment that I suddenly remember a Kabbalah lesson that I once took with Madonna and Britney, the Earth Mothers. And I remember being taught that Hesed, loving kindness, is often likened to water, because Hesed, loving kindness, it gives life. But if it's not bound in by its opposing sphira of din or torah, of judgment or boundaries, then it can drown you if it doesn't have that opposing balance. And so then I realised that maybe what I'm watching at Ben Gurion Airport is actually just an imbalance between Chesed and Din. You know how we Brits have a different imbalance. You know, we some say we have a bit too much Din and we don't really let the Chesed flow. So here maybe there's just a bit too much Chesed and not enough Din. You know, I see these two kids and they suddenly see their dad who's come back from a work trip and they rush past the barrier and right out to greet him, and he's got one kid limping to his leg and another one in his arms. And then I see some guy with a rucksack and he's obviously come back from a long trek because his mother and father and grandmother go out to greet him and he bursts into tears. I guess Grandpa must have been buried while he was away. And here I am at Ben Gurion Airport. The airport named after David Ben Gurion, who we know more than enough about. And I wonder maybe that's the whole story of this whole country. That maybe in this country we've just got a bit too much Hesed and not enough Din. That we love our families and our work so much that we drive like lunatics to see them. We love our kids so much that we rarely teach them the difference between right and wrong. It may not be a coincidence that we're the only country in the world with no internationally recognised borders. Maybe we're just getting too much Chesed and not enough Din. But still, my friends have not come out. And now I'm really getting worried because I know that the London flight has landed because there are all these pasty-looking people walking by, so I know that the Brits are in town, but my friends haven't come out, and now I'm really worried because, I mean, forget not Jewish, he's Muslim, and this is soon after 9/11. I'm sure what they're doing, they're probably taking him aside for questioning, or maybe they're strip searching her, or maybe they didn't even let him get on the plane in the first place, and I'm really, really worried, and then all of a sudden I see them, and they're coming out, and they look fantastic, they look glowing, they look so happy, and I'm so happy to see them, I'm so happy that they're happy. I get out of my seat, I run straight past that stupid metal barrier, straight out to give them a hug, because that's what we Israelis do. ממול, איזה כיף לאנשים שבשבילם פה זה חול. גם ישראל בסדר בגמור, ולא יש מיליונים שאין להם מה לאכול.
כדי להתרחק, לא כמו זה להתנתק, להתנקות,
ולשים סוף מאחוריי, את הטכנולוגים לארץ גגוריי, כי רק פה אין משמעות ללא נעים,
רק פה שבפחות חשוב מנעמים,
רק פה 3 ראשי ממשלה נגעים ולא משתפים פעולה. Actually, another prime minister is under investigation, and of course the finance minister, the justice minister, the prime minister, and the president have already gone down. אני מרגיש שייכות, למרות שאני כועס על השחיתות.
ואם אתה בחו"ל נמצא ואף פותח,
זה בכל מקום אני מתגעגע. איי 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 הכל אצלי עניין של הרגל, סך הכל סבבה להתגלגל בישראל, הכל עניין נורמלי. חלק מהכפר, או חלק מהגלובלי, כי רק פה כולם מדברים בעברית,
מקללים ברוסית,
אנגלית,
בערבית.
רק פה אנשים הולכים הכל בטון, רק פה כולם בצבא ובציפור, כי רק פה אני מרגיש שייכות, למרות שאני כועס על השחיתות.
ואם אתה בחו"ל נמצא בהפיצוץ, שומע,
רק פה פתאום אני מתגעגע, אוי 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 אוי. רק פה בחיובי ובשלילי, רק פה הכל מוכר מרגיש שלי, רק פה אני נוח, זה הסיפור, אז למה לי לברוח כל מקום ביקום? רק פה אני מרגיש שייכות, למרות שאני כועס על השחיתות.
ואם אתה בחו"ל נמצא בהפיצוץ, שומע,
אז רק לפה פתאום אני מתגעגע, איי 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 איי. רק פה. So I figure, okay, so I also fall in love with the idea that I'm going to be bilingual. I'm going to speak perfect, fluent English, not American. I'm going to speak perfect, fluent Hebrew, and I'm going to be a man of the world. It's marvelous. But in the end,